didn't lose money because your system failed. You lost it because you got angry. You chased, you clicked, and the market punished you. Ever felt that? Maybe it started with a loss, just one, but it burned. So you jumped back in. No setup, no logic, just fire in the gut. You called it making it back. The market called it revenge trading, and it's one of the fastest ways to blow up an account emotionally and financially. I know this, not because I read it in a book, but because I lived it. Years ago, I turned a green month into a disaster in just 48 hours, chasing after a single red candle that hurt my ego more than my P&L. I thought I was in control. Truth is, I was being controlled by fear, by anger, by that little voice in my head that said, "Come on, you're better than this, just one more trade." But trading isn't about proving anything, it's about staying alive. And the moment your emotions take the wheel, your edge is gone. Your logic is gone. And what's left? A trader chasing ghosts. In this video, I want to walk you through the 3 biggest mental traps that almost every trader, yes, even the seasoned ones, fall into. Revenge trading, when you trade to get even, not to get smart. FOMO, that sick feeling in your stomach when you watch a move without you. The lie of control, the illusion that you can predict what the market will do next if you just try hard enough. If you've ever felt any of that, you're not alone, and you're not broken, but you do need a reset. And that starts by understanding what's really driving your trades. Over the next few minutes, I'll break down not just what these traps are, but why they happen in your brain, how dopamine, ego, and pain wire you to make irrational decisions, and most importantly, how to reclaim control over yourself, even if you can't control the market. This isn't about hype. It's not a how to flip $100 to $10,000 overnight. It's about building the mental edge that actually makes you survive this game. So if you're tired of feeling like your worst enemy in front of the charts, stick around, because what I'm about to share might just change the way you trade forever. Revenge trading, when ego takes the wheel. Let's get brutally honest here. Have you ever stared at a red trade and felt your blood boil? You followed your plan, you waited for the setup, you entered with confidence, but it slapped you. Now there's a tight knot in your stomach. Your cursor hovers over the buy button. Again, no plan this time, no edge, just emotion. That is revenge trading. And trust me, I know it too well. My worst trade wasn't even a trade, it was an emotion. A couple years ago, I shorted a breakout. Everything lined up, price action, volume, even the trend bias. But the market had other plans. I took a clean loss, small, controlled, just like I practiced. But then something snapped. I told myself, no way I'm ending the day like this. I'll get it back. And so I entered again. Same pair, same direction. But this time, no setup, no logic, just fire. Fast forward 3 hours, I'd tripled my position size, I'd taken 5 more entries and ended the day down 10 times my original risk. That wasn't trading. That was me letting anger take the trade. What is revenge trading, really? It's not about the money, it's about ego. It's your brain trying to win an emotional argument with the market, and that's a game you're never going to win. When you revenge trade, your logic shuts off. The amygdala, the emotional center of your brain, hijacks your process. Your nervous system goes into fight or flight. You're no longer analyzing, you're reacting. You think you're taking back control, but really, you've lost it completely. The psychology behind it. Your brain hates to lose more than it loves to win. It treats loss like a threat to survival, just like physical pain. And so it tells you, fix it, get it back, prove you were right. But here's the problem. The market doesn't care about your pain. It doesn't care about your revenge. It doesn't even know you exist. So the more emotionally attached you get, the more exposed you become. How do you know you're revenge trading? Here are a few red flags. You re-enter immediately after a loss without reviewing the setup. You increase your size out of frustration, not conviction. You tell yourself things like, I just need to make it back. You stop following your system and start chasing justice. Sound familiar? You're not alone, but you've got to call it out before it spirals. What to do instead, a real reset protocol. When you feel revenge creeping in, 1, step away from the screen, literally. Get up, walk out. Your body needs to break the stimulus loop. 2, name the emotion. Say it out loud or write it down. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling embarrassed. Labeling emotion reduces its power. 3, open your trading journal. Not to write trades, but to write what just happened inside you. What were you thinking? Why did it hurt? What triggered you? 4, set a cool down rule. Mine is 2 hours. No trading after a red trade unless I've done a full reset. Hard truth, trader to trader, revenge trading is not a trading problem. It's an emotional control problem disguised as strategy. And if you don't confront it, if you don't build rules that protect you from yourself, you'll keep burning your own account over and over. The chart isn't your enemy. Your unprocessed emotions are. In the next part, we'll break down another trap that looks less dangerous but is just as deadly, FOMO, and why the fear of missing out is actually a fear of being wrong in disguise. FOMO, the silent saboteur in your mind. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat on the sidelines watching a trade take off and felt that tight pull in your chest? The candle breaks out, price shoots past resistance. Everyone on Twitter is screaming, "Saul is flying. You're in." Right? And you're not. You hesitated. You waited for confirmation, and now you feel like the only trader who missed the move. That discomfort? That anxiety? That's FOMO, fear of missing out. FOMO is not about greed. It's about insecurity. Most people think FOMO means you're greedy, but that's not quite right. FOMO comes from a deeper place, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being left behind. It hits especially hard when you just took a loss and now you're desperate for a win. You've been on the sidelines for too long, watching others make money. Your identity is tied to being a good trader, and missing a move feels like failure. FOMO isn't logical, it's emotional. It whispers, you're missing your shot, everyone's in except you. If you don't enter now, you'll regret it. So you click, late, no setup, no plan, just panic masked as urgency. The trap is deeper than you think. What's even more dangerous? Sometimes FOMO trades actually work. You catch the tail end of a pump, bank a quick win, and now your brain gets hooked. You start to associate impulse with reward. That's how addiction forms. It's like slot machines, occasional hits, random wins, total chaos. And before you know it, you've replaced your trading system with a dopamine loop. The neuroscience of FOMO. Here's what's really going on. When you see others winning or think you're missing something, your brain's reward center gets activated. Dopamine spikes, not because you actually gained anything, but because your brain anticipates a reward. That anticipation creates urgency. Your logical brain, the prefrontal cortex, gets hijacked, and your decisions shift from rational to reactive. How to recognize FOMO before it takes over. Look out for these warning signs. You feel a rush when you see price move, like you're being left out of something. You abandon your original plan and chase just to be part of the move. You're more focused on not missing this opportunity than finding a good opportunity. You justify bad entries with, well, at least I'm in. If any of that sounds familiar, it's time to pause, because you're not trading anymore. You're reacting to a chemical trigger. My FOMO recovery protocol tested in real life. Here's what I've learned to do after FOMO cost me more than I care to admit. Twart 1, pre-trade checklist. I never enter a trade unless I check off 3 things. Valid setup, predefined risk, no emotional rush. If I feel excited or panicked, it's an auto pass. 2, the let it go journal. Every time I don't take a trade and it flies without me, I write it down. But I don't just log the missed opportunity. I log why I stuck to my system, and I celebrate the discipline. We train what we reward. 3, the rule of 3. I only allow myself to take trades from a list of 3 pre-qualified setups. If a move doesn't match one of those, no matter how sexy it looks, I skip it. Hard truth, you can't catch everything, and that's okay. The market is infinite. Opportunities come every day, every week, every session, but your capital, your energy, your discipline, those are limited resources, so protect them. Don't waste them chasing what's already gone. The missed trade isn't your enemy. Chasing it is. In part 3, we'll talk about something even more dangerous. The illusion that you can actually control the market. Spoiler, you can't. But you can control how you respond to it, and that's where real mastery begins. The lie of control and why letting go is power. Let me hit you with something raw. You don't control the market. You never did. And the moment you try to, that's when it starts to control you. Sounds harsh? Maybe. But this is the truth no one wants to admit, especially after a few green trades. Why we crave control in trading. Humans are wired to seek patterns. It's part of our survival instinct. In ancient times, spotting patterns like weather shifts or animal behavior kept us alive. Today, we look at candlesticks and moving averages the same way. We think, if I just study hard enough, if I get the perfect entry, I'll predict what comes next. And that's where the lie of control begins. Because deep down, we believe, if I trade enough, I'll never be wrong again. If I tweak my system, I'll avoid all losses. If I just focus harder, I'll beat the market. But trading doesn't work like that. The market is a wild animal. Here's what the pros understand that rookies resist. The market is not a machine. It's not something you solve. It's a wild living ecosystem of fear, greed, news, noise, manipulation, liquidity games, and randomness. You might have an edge, you might even have a high probability setup. But you don't control the outcome. You don't control what the next candle does. You don't control when your setup fails. You don't even control how long a trend will last. So if your confidence is built on being right, your identity will shatter the moment you're not. The hidden cost of trying to control everything. Let me tell you a story. There was a time when I micromanaged every trade. I stared at the charts for hours. I moved my stop loss, then moved it again. I watched every tick, every reaction. It was like trying to steer a roller coaster with a toothpick. What did I get for it? Stress, burnout, and ironically, worse results, because when you try to control the uncontrollable, you stop focusing on the only thing you actually have power over, your behavior, your execution, your system. Control yourself, not the market. Great traders don't control the market. They control how they react to it. They accept losses. They expect randomness. They build systems that factor in uncertainty instead of denying it. Here's the mindset shift that changed everything for me. My job is not to predict the next move. My job is to execute my edge over time without emotional interference. That's it. It sounds simple, but living that consistently, that's where the real work begins. Signs you're falling for the control illusion. Let me ask you, do you feel anxious when you're not watching the charts? Do you keep switching strategies, thinking the next one will be perfect? Do you tweak your rules mid-trade because you just know what's coming? If yes, you're not trading. You're trying to control the uncontrollable. That's a dangerous game. How to let go without giving up. Letting go doesn't mean being careless. It means being clear about what's yours to own and what's not. Try these tools. 1. Predefine trade plans. Before you click, you already know your entry, stop, target, conditions to exit. No adjustments, no gut feelings, just execution. 2. Scheduled trade reviews. Don't judge a trade while it's still alive. Set a time, end of day, end of week to evaluate. Detach from the heat of the moment. 3. The 5 trade rule. Don't judge your edge after 1 or 2 trades. Track performance over 5, 10, or 20 trades. That's when statistics, not emotions, start to speak. 4. Mindfulness between trades. This one sounds soft, but it's lethal in the right hands. Between trades, breathe. Ask yourself, am I acting or reacting? Am I trading the market or trying to fight it? That pause, it can save your account. Final thought, you can be disciplined or you can be right, not both. Trying to control every candle is exhausting. It leads to overtrading, emotional spirals, and eventually self-sabotage. Letting go is not weakness, it's discipline. It's saying, I accept randomness, I accept loss, and I trust my edge enough to not interfere. Because in the end, you're not paid to be right, you're paid to be consistent. And consistency only comes when you stop chasing control and start mastering yourself. In the final part, I'll tie everything together: revenge, FOMO, control, and show you how to build a mental system that protects your edge even when your emotions try to hijack it. From emotion to execution, building your mental edge. So we've talked about revenge trading, how anger hijacks logic. We've exposed FOMO, that anxious urge to chase. And we've cracked open the lie of control, the myth that you can outsmart randomness. Now let's put it all together, because knowing these traps isn't enough. You need a mental system, a framework that keeps you grounded, even when the pressure hits. Let me walk you through what I call the trader's real edge, not based on indicators, but on inner clarity. Step 1, detach from outcome, attach to process. Let me ask you a blunt question. What do you feel after a losing trade? Frustration? Shame? The urge to make it back? That reaction reveals your real attachment, not to the trade, but to the outcome. Here's the shift. The market owes you nothing. Not profit, not validation, not fairness, but your process, your plan. That's where your power lives. If you followed your edge, managed your risk, and respected your rules, that's a win, no matter the P&L. Step 2, rewire how you see mistakes. I used to think bad trades meant I was a bad trader. I took every stop loss personally. It crushed my confidence until I reframed it. Now, every mistake is just feedback. Ask yourself, did I follow my plan? Did I size correctly? Did I enter for the right reason, or just because I felt something? Your growth as a trader doesn't come from the wins. It comes from how you handle the losses, the misses, the messy days, but only if you're willing to look at them without ego. Step 3, build emotional risk management. Most traders only manage capital. They have a stop loss for price, but no stop loss for emotion. That's why they spiral. So here's how I protect myself, not just financially, but mentally. 1, the 3-strike rule. If I break my rules 3 times in one day, I shut it down, no matter what the market is doing. Discipline is worth more than any setup. 2, the cool down block. After a red trade, I wait 15 minutes before re-entering. It's like rebooting my brain. In those 15 minutes, I journal what I felt, not what I saw on the chart, what I felt, because that's where the danger is. Tank 3, the weekly emotional review. Every weekend, I ask myself, what triggered me? Where did I act from ego? What part of my system broke and why? This isn't fun, but it's where real progress happens. Step 4, train like an athlete, not a gambler. Pro athletes don't just show up. They train muscle memory. They visualize. They review tape. They build routines that make performance automatic. You need the same. Trading isn't just an art. It's a performance skill under pressure. So build your mental warm-up. Before each session, review your setups, say your rules out loud, visualize missing a trade and being okay with it. Visualize taking a loss and walking away proud. The more you train your brain to handle discomfort, the less power those emotional traps will have. Final truth, you are the system. People ask me, what's your best strategy? What's your favorite indicator? What's the edge? My answer is always the same. The edge is not in the chart. The edge is you. Your rules, your mindset, your ability to stay calm in chaos, to wait when it's boring, and to walk away when it's wrong. That's what separates consistent traders from emotional ones. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stop sabotaging yourself. A new way to measure progress. Forget, did I win today? Ask instead, did I follow my plan? Did I manage my risk? Did I trade from clarity, not emotion? Did I protect my mental capital? If you can answer yes, then you're winning, even if the trade didn't. Because in this game, the real profit comes from compounding discipline, from one trader to another. You don't need more indicators. You need more awareness. You don't need to control the market. You need to control how you show up to it. And you don't need to be fearless. You just need to be honest with yourself. Revenge, FOMO, the lie of control. These are not weaknesses. They're invitations to grow. The sooner you face them, the sooner you become the trader you're meant to be. If this series gave you clarity, drop it in the comments and share your biggest mental challenge in trading. I read every one. This is your space to grow. And if you're ready to build a trading system that starts from the inside out, hit subscribe, because we don't just trade charts here. We trade with consciousness, control, and consistency. Until next time, trade smart, stay sharp, and protect your mind like your capital. From knowledge to habit, turning psychology into daily execution. You've made it this far. You understand the traps, revenge, FOMO, illusion of control. You've seen where the damage comes from. Now let's talk about what you can actually do every single day to protect your edge. Because knowledge doesn't change your P&L. Habits do. So here's a simple, proven framework I use in my own trading routine. The 4P system. Plan, prepare, protect, process. Let's break it down. 1. Plan. Before the chart even loads, most bad trades don't happen at entry. They happen before you even open the platform. Every night before I sleep, I ask, what pairs or assets am I watching tomorrow? What setups do I want? Not what I hope for. What will make me walk away? Write it down, because clarity kills chaos. 2. Prepare. Train your brain before you click. Would you fly with a pilot who didn't check the weather? Yet many traders jump into markets without a psychological check-in. Before every session, I do this 2-minute ritual. Deep breath. Scan for emotion. Am I calm? Rushed? Desperate? Say out loud, I don't need to trade, I need to execute. It centers me, reminds me, I'm not here to prove anything, I'm here to perform. 3. Protect your capital and your mind. A system without protection is just hope in disguise. I use 2 stop losses, one for the trade, money, one for my emotional state. If I feel rushed, revengeful, triggered by social media or someone else's win, I shut it down. No trading for 30 minutes, because no trade is worth burning mental capital. 4. Process. Review, reflect, recalibrate. End of day, I ask just 3 questions. 1. Did I follow my plan? 2. Where did I let emotion lead? 3. What one thing can I do better tomorrow? No shame, no judgment, just data, self-awareness. Over time, this creates a mental edge sharper than any indicator. Why this works, even if you're a part-time trader. You don't need 8 hours a day to trade well. You need 30 minutes of clarity. You need rituals that protect you from yourself. The goal is not perfection. The goal is pattern awareness. When you understand your emotional patterns, you stop fighting them and start managing them. That's where real confidence grows. You are not just a trader, you are a performer under pressure. Treat yourself like one. Athletes have warm-ups, musicians have rehearsals, surgeons have protocols. Why should you be any different? This game is hard, but it gets easier when you stop chasing outcomes and start designing systems that work even on your worst days. So write your plan, know your signals, and most of all, protect your state, because the most dangerous trade you'll ever take is the one you enter without emotional clarity. In the next video, I'll show you exactly how I build my 1-page trading mindset map, a simple visual I look at before every session to stay grounded, focused, and ruthless with execution. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell, and as always, trade smart, stay sharp, and protect the one thing you trade with every day, your mind.